That time once again, everyone. So glad you could join us today. Looks like it's a week of familiar names as we take a look at a film from someone we've talked about before, and it is director Mel House. And we're looking at his film InBetweening, also known as 30 to 45. Now, here we get the story of Eric Linson, who is a filmmaker who's come out with a number of B horror films and that went direct to video and streaming and such, but he's in between projects right now, and so he's just trying to get through life, find investors, find that spark of inspiration for his next script to try to get it off the ground and make his next film. And in the meantime, he's delivering pizzas. But his perspective around the world is a very different, very creative, and very surreal at moments as he doesn't take care of himself. His health starts to go as he drives himself harder and harder to try to get his project done and running into roadblocks along the way. In-betweening is interesting. That's a phrase they put a description in the beginning. The in-betweening is them trying to get from one frame to another of animation, if I understand it correctly. So you're in between solid frames and trying to make it seem smooth. And that's fitting here because here we have Eric Linson, who's played wonderfully by Brendan Cole. Eric's trying to get his next project made, so he's in between projects. So I love that parallel with the title and what is going on with our character here. He's kind of in between, but not only that, we get animation in here as well, which helps kind of solidify that meaning and what Eric is going through. I love that. There's so much. This film has everything. It's got animated sequences. It's got meta references. It's got meta upon meta references. And it's even got puppets in here at one point. Yeah, all of it is fascinating and fun and interesting and visually creative. It's an interesting way to tell this story that is basically just about an indie film guy trying to get his project made. And I loved that approach. It also felt a bit catharsis going on here, a little bit cathartic for Mel House, as it felt like he was expressing some of the frustrations and other things he's run into while making independent films. And so I like that as well. He even makes an appearance in here during one scene, which things like reality and fantasy kind of cross the line and blur quite a bit as it happens in this film. So yeah, I really love the Eric character, the way Brendan Cole plays him, and the written, and just this creative approach to telling the story. Now, there's some other talent in here as well. Angelo Moore shows up from Fishbone, playing himself, and it was great. He's more than just a cameo in here. We get to hear some of his music, and there's a very important scene involving him and Eric later in the film that was actually very touching, and I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of serious moments in here. There's humorous moments as well, especially when you're in the animated sequence parts of it. Yeah, it's such a way to tell the story that it might be a little jarring at first, but once you realize what Mel is going with here, I think you could roll with it, and soon you won't notice it. It may seem just natural where we go from live action to the animated and such. And then we have Debbie Rochon showing up here as well, playing a key role in the Eric and Linson story. So yeah, her Elizabeth was great, and it almost felt a little cathartic as well. This film definitely is going to connect, I think, with indie filmmakers out there for sure, or any creative artist out there just trying to get from one project to another, trying to create something that is more than what they've done in the past, try to elevate their game to the next level, but continually trying to run into roadblocks that are either something outside of their control or within themselves. And Mel House just encapsulates that perfectly in this entertaining film that I think is going to surprise you. So yeah, I dug it quite a bit. In-betweening, also known as 30 to 45, I highly recommend it. I'll put as much information as I can down below for it. Very interesting story, told in a unique way that will definitely reach out and touch some of those creative folks out there. So thank you so much. If you have seen this film at a festival or whatnot, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Like, subscribe, bells and whistles, and all that here. I thank you for your support. Till next time, remember, keep that ticket stub.